Good morning, everyone. How are you all? Fine. Belated Happy Teachers' Day. So, thank you for your wishes. That day it was great, wonderful. Jatin. So I think you are the brain behind that. I think. Good. अच्छा बात भी करते हो. So today's session is about what? Yeah. So I'm going to talk about. I'm like an alarm clock, right? So मैं बस वही repeat करता रहता हूँ, लेकिन in a way I come at a regular interval just to wake you up, right, from certain mistakes that you are doing, and to bring you on the right path, to motivate you, to guide you to what exactly needs to be done to crack this examination. So before I start, I have a small message for people who are writing mains this year, right? Mains is about to be started, like from 16th September. The first paper is essay paper. So those who are writing mains, now I will assume all of you are going to write mains. Anyway, next year September you will all be writing mains. So one thing is you have like 2 to 3 days before your mains. Now for so many of you in your mind, so many thoughts will be coming and going. What to be done, what things I have to complete, what things I have to finish, and these things. But more than what you need to study and what you need to prepare, I would like to talk about two important things. So when you are going for a mains, so more than what you have prepared knowledge wise, the content wise, right, what comes to your rescue on the day of mains is presence of mind, right. The presence of mind is the most important factor. The second is go with an open mind, right. So what people usually do is that they have prepared so much, they have written so many tests, they have prepared short notes for everything. Their mind is revolving around what they have prepared, what they already know, right, their notes, the things they have written, but seldom they think beyond these things. It doesn't happen regularly that they do not think beyond what they have prepared. In mains, that is what is required. You have to think beyond what you have prepared. If you don't think like that, if you don't have that open mind, if you don't show that presence of mind, what happens? You get easily rattled, get unsettled when you look at a totally new question, right? A question which you might answer, you can answer if you can apply your mind. You will not be able to answer if you have a closed mind, if you lack that presence of mind. So now sleep properly, give importance to sleeping, relaxing, watch a movie, watch podcasts, watch comedy shows, Kapil Sharma show, these kind of things. Relax, sleep well, and when you are writing mains, enjoy the process. If at all, like if somebody has written test, you will know that the speed is lacking at this moment. Even after writing so many tests, those who are going to write mains might have written like 16 to 18 answers out of 20, right? But I have seen over so many years that the best will come out during the actual mains examination. So you might have written like 16 to 18 answers, but in the real mains examination, you will be able to answer all 20 questions if you know answers to all of them, right? So as many questions for which you know answer, you will be able to answer. So don't worry about it, that you will not be able to complete the paper. Second thing is, if you have practiced so many tests, in the end you will have some few minutes left. That is the observation I have made. If you have written so many tests, in the end you will have 5 to 10 minutes to further think about it. But most of the people waste that 5 minutes time, right? So what you must do, you have to come back, read every answer. For example, you have written 18 answers. For 1 or 2 answers you don't know anything, and you have 5 to 10 minutes. So it is better to come back and add examples to these answers for which you have already done some decent justice. Like if you have written 10 point, you might have written like 6 to 7 examples. See if you can write 2 to 3 more examples. Like give like 30 to 40 seconds per answer, write some examples. That is better than trying to think some kind of vague, beating around the bush kind of answer to those two questions for which you don't know the answer, right? So this will get you more marks than attempting those 1 or 2 questions for which you actually don't know anything, right? So this all you will be able to relate to yourself. I mean, those who are listening here from, because the session is about prelims, next year you will be able to realize. Again, you are writing all weekly test, right? The mains test, it applies to you also. Okay, you will all be able to improve these things. So now coming to prelims 2023, right? How is your preparation? Are you confident of cracking preliminary examination? Okay, why are you confident? What is giving you that confidence? Practice. Good. You're putting your efforts. Very good. Then, is it shown in the marks, the weekly test you are giving? You are seeing the improvement. Okay. You are in OGP student or no? IPM. Good. How many IPM tests you have written? 2.1 all the tests you are writing. Good. So that is the reason you are seeing improvements. Very good. And OGP students, you are writing all the tests? Okay. So now coming to prelims 2023, how many months we have? Less than 8 months or more than 7 months? Right. So you have less than 8 months or more than 7 months, that is up to you. Right. Now what is the strategy that you would like to adopt to ensure that not only you clear prelims but also clear the entire examination? That is how you should think. So don't get too much obsessed over clearing prelims next year. The strategy should be looking at the examination as a one unit, as a whole, and try to crack it. So now in that regard, anything that you are doing, do you sincerely, honestly feel that it is sufficient? सफिशिएंट वाला फीलिंग नहीं आ रहा है, तो क्या फीलिंग आ रहा है? So every day there is a feeling of incompleteness, like you are not able to do everything that you want to do on a daily basis. Then day before yesterday I met a guy, like he was part of core best student in Delhi. So he came to Bangalore and is preparing from Bangalore. So there also they did some small Teachers Day celebration. So ये पूरा पीछे खड़ा था, तो वहाँ पे लोग हंस रहे थे, बात बात पे हंस रहे थे, मतलब हम लोग ऐसे मजाक कर रहे थे. देन yesterday, day before yesterday was telling, सर आपने सही बोला, दिल्ली में सीरियस होते लोग, बहुत सीरियस होते हैं, मतलब वो हंसते ही नहीं वहाँ पे. अभी यहाँ पे साउथ में आप कुछ भी बोलते हैं यहाँ पे हंस लेते हैं लोग, राइट? सो एवरी टाइम आई कम हियर आई गेट दैट फीलिंग, लाइक you people sit as if you are already IAS officers. ठीक है, जैसे लबस्तना में बैठते हो ना, वो बड़े बड़े लेक्चर लोग पढ़ाते हैं, लेकिन आप लोग ऐसे बैठते हो ऑलरेडी यू नो एवरीथिंग. ठीक है, क्या टाइम वेस्ट कर रहा है, ठीक है. नो एटीट्यूड आ जाते जब व्हेन यू गेट इनटू IAS. सो डोंट बी टू सीरियस इन योर लाइफ. ठीक है, लाइक बहुत हल्का सा रहो, लाइक यू फ्लोट, राइट, एवरी डे, लाइक यू फ्लाई. आई मीन वो बोझ जो भी है ना, आपने जहाँ जहाँ पे लगाया उसको पूरा निकाल दो. आज मैं सुबह वॉकिंग भी गया था, तो मतलब वो बोझ के बारे में बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. सो द थिंग इनसाइड योर माइंड, ठीक है, you have to make yourself very light. So then only you will actually see that you are making true progress, either in terms of preparation or in terms of life, right? So then how do you make yourself light, even within the preparation aspect? So the one thing is, for 2023, beyond 2023, what is the focus must be, I have this 60-40% rule, right? On a daily basis, what people are missing is, somebody mentioned the practice aspect. Now, the most of you are into that mode where constantly you are consuming things, right? So morning to night, most of the activities you are doing are towards consuming information. You are listening to class, you are listening to videos, you are reading newspaper, you are revising your class notes. Everything you are doing is mostly to in order to complete things, right? You are in that race to complete. So you want to complete this book, you want to complete this particular subject, you want to complete this particular test series or something. So in a way, what you are doing on particular moment or on particular day, you are not satisfied with that particular thing, right? So the focus, when I say 60-40, is that whatever you are doing on that day, so try to be satisfied and try to be as much perfect as possible with respect to that particular thing. How will you do that is bringing kind of a fierce focus on what you are doing, rather than thinking about what happened yesterday or thinking about what will happen tomorrow. So now if you are listening to the class, right, the 60% rule is consumption 60%, 40% is application of it, right, practice of it. So now if you are reading, for example, if the economy class got over, if you have read, if you listen to like 2 to 3 concept, now definitely you should read the notes, definitely you should read something about it from NCERT, but most important thing, on the same day, ensure that at least 30-40 questions, MCQs, are solved from that particular topic. Now if you honestly introspect yourself, this particular aspect is missing. So you have excuse for not doing this practice thing every day. That you would like to complete this, you would like to make notes of, you want to do notes. I met a person right now in my cabin, not canteen, but cabin. So last time when I had spoken to him, I told him that he had failed in CSAT. So I told him that weekly एक full length CSAT करना है. If not one, if not two, at least one. My recommendation was 2 full length CSAT mock test, that too in the offline mode. Now they know that they have fear in CSAT paper, they know that they have failed in CSAT paper, but after prelims, most of the students, those who have failed in either CSAT or have fear in CSAT, are yet to give a full length CSAT test, most of them, right? So that person hasn't given. So in a day is practicing like 10 to 15 questions every day is doing. Now when you are not doing the most fundamental thing this exam requires, but you are telling yourself that you are doing a problem on time, averages, this and that, and trying to get better, again it is aligned, it is towards consumption of things, right? Now you are not sharpening your skill, you are not applying your mind to further make it adaptable to the any kind of difficult uncertain situation. So unless you give full length, like if you are not giving the full length examination, your mind is never going to get adapted to that kind of situation. Now question is not that. The question is why people listen, like most of you do, but then don't apply it, right? So that difference comes here. So now if you are able to understand anything, I mean what I am going to talk is nothing rocket science, basic common sense throughout the session. Now you people are able to relate with what I am going to say. Most of you will tell yourself also that you will be doing this from this time onwards, but again something happens that you don't do it, right? The reason is that there is some kind of resistance within you, right? The resistance is created either by fear or either by lack of guidance or something. So you have to identify that aspect. I'll ask random question like how many of you are doing like say like 30-40 MCQs on a daily basis? 2 people in the class, right? So you may be taking classes OGP, you may be writing IPM test, right? Now this daily practice, so as I said the 40%, 10 hours if you are preparing for the examination, 4 hours must be spent on applying that knowledge, practicing that knowledge. So some component of it is prelims, some component of it is mains. It can be 1 hour of secure answer writing, 1 hour of doing MCQs, 1 hour of optional answer writing, 1 hour of the same revision or more number of questions. See, if you are not doing this particular thing, what people are doing is that 40% thing they are trying to make notes. Even now so many people come and tell me that they are preparing notes for every topic in the mains. Those who have already taken coaching, those who have given multiple attempts, they come and say that they have target of completing their notes by December, right? From December onwards they will start giving mock tests, the weekly mock test or any mock test. So why do you have this kind of thinking in your mind? So why can't it be integrated from day one? It can be done, right? But for that you have to bring this kind of thinking. Now you might ask like why are you suggesting this thing, right? So why are you suggesting us that we have to go with this kind of approach, not the approach that till December I will do only for mains and then from January I will do only for prelim preparation. Does anybody have any answer for this? Why am I recommending that you should start doing mock tests, especially offline one, right? From now onwards and daily practice from today itself. There could be scope for more improvement if you start early. Very good. So past 3 years it is becoming difficult. So okay, then do you see any common sense in what I am suggesting? What is it?
Along with MCQ practices, we are writing answers.
And MCQ solving is a skill, and you gain skill over a period of time. Don't gain it in over.
Good. So you have listened to all previous sessions. It is a skill that it will develop and it will strengthen over a period of time if you do it on a regular basis. Now the way prelims is designed, right? It demands at least 1 year prior preparation, right? Practice as well, not just reading things. The reason is that the way the questions are set, both in prelims paper and paper 2, are to break any kind of conditioning, right, that the coaching institutions have done or the flood of materials have done among the students. So they want those students, as I said, I gave the message to the mains, those who have strong presence of mind, those who can adapt very fast, whose basics are extremely good, who can solve the problem on the go, right? Now these are the skills. These skills you cannot develop or learn by reading books or by listening to n number of classes, right? These skills you will develop only by failing again and again while trying to learn those skills. So the more you fail, in the sense that the more questions you get wrong, the more wrong answers you write, the more poor essays you write, right, you will be able to become better at these things over a period of time. It must be complemented with intense, that 60% effort. Again, that intensity will be evident if you are not thinking about the future or the past, right? Earlier I was talking about like halka saro. So that happens only when you live in the present, live in the moment. Everybody has a complaint. I mean, most of your freshers here, that they failed in last few attempts, they failed in they failed in last few mocks, they are not able to see improvement. So that should be there in your part of the mind, because it acts as a guide, it acts as a lesson, but that should never overpower, or affect what you are currently doing, right? So to ensure that you have this, it is called as mindfulness, I think, right? आप लोगों ने इंस्टॉल किया होगा mindfulness ऐप, no? What is mindfulness? Living in the present. Being aware of the present, right? Being aware of the realities in the present moment. So basically living in the present by being aware of yourself, your surroundings and everything. Now both Logane spiritual gurus, all these big gurus have talked about it, they keep talking about it. So I am not any spiritual guru or anything. So this mindful thing, what I have learned is only through interacting with you people. There is a difference between people who are too much focused on the present and people who are too much focused on either future or on the past. I have seen, like if I ask you to write an essay, right? Now if you are living in the present, if you have practiced it, if you have made it a habit, you will actually take it very seriously, right? And you actually implement it. And when I come next time, you will show it. So now you know the value of my suggestion or my guidance, because so you are not too much worried about failing at it or writing a poor thing about it or getting negative feedback later when you show, right? You are not worried about it. The only thing that is worrying you is how do I start and how do I improve in it, right? So that constant improvement that you make on a daily basis is what gets you closer to the success. The only focus, if at all anything should be there in your preparation, how do I improve from this point to this point, right? And that improvement can happen only with practice. Bring practice into your preparation. Without practicing, if you are preparing for this examination, this cycle will keep continuing. You will again listen to this session next year, in some cases again in 24 also, right? So today also morning I tweeted, I don't know, suddenly that thought came up, that why people who come to cities like Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, other big cities with so much aspiration, hope, determination also, right? So once they come here, why do they get deviated? Why do they get demotivated? Why do they get distracted? That too, everyone is educated, you have talent, you have resources. Despite having everything, why do people get deviated? The reason is, it, like I don't have to tell. People have written so many comments, I didn't read them, but you know the reason. There is some kind of fear, there is lack of self-belief, there is misguidance, there is lack of awareness about the demand of the exam itself, right? So this session is intended towards making you realize that these gaps, that especially lack of awareness about the demand of the examination, this might, of course people tell this is mother of all examination, and this exam requires you to do lot of hard working, but more than anything else, this exam requires you to be a strong person, a really tough person, right? So by being strong and tough only you can actually practice. You cannot practice if internally you are not motivated, if you are internally not strong, right? Can you relate with this thing? It is impossible. You should be like driven. There should be little madness about this thing, again without losing your mind. It's basically passion. So how do you bring that ease? Again through practice. Now what practice does to you is that when you start practicing, today I will ask you to do 40 MCQs. Like for example, let's say you are reading geography, geomorphology, I will ask you do 40 MCQs. Now you go and do 40 MCQs and you will realize some of you may be good in all 40, some of you can only get 5 or 10 questions right. For both the categories, there are so many learning opportunities here, right? So when you solve them, a 40 different way of solving these questions. So next time when you face the same question, your confidence is slightly better than it is before. right? And you will notice that when your mind is focused on solving a problem, when it is focused on, your mind actually thinks like that. It translates into better answer writing, better writing case studies, coming up with innovative approach in your essays, thinking more originally in terms of, writing answers and writing essays. I don't know if you're relating with this, but this is what happens when you start focusing more on the practice aspect. So now for next year 2023, what you need to start with is three things are fundamental. One is last 25 years of preliminary question papers, minimum 20 years of question papers. Every day, the thing I am telling you, 30-40 questions, you solve only previous year questions till next 2 to 3 months. This is whether you are a complete fresher who is taking classroom program in some institution, or whether you are already failed in prelims and might have completed coaching. It applies to everyone. You might have, people tell me like with confidence that I have done 3 times, 2 times revision of past year papers. It doesn't matter. Again take them, but now do them with passion this time, right? For every question there are like minimum 2 to 4 or some cases 5 different options, right? For every option, be a curious individual, right? So these 20-year question papers, past previous year UPSC question papers of civil services examination and all other UPSC examination objective questions, you have to be passionate about learning more about those topics. The topics that UPSC has covered all these years, including this year and past few years, are the most important topics for this examination. It's simple common sense. They are the most important topics than any other topic that you are currently reading. You have to master those topics. And how will you know these topics are important, or which are these topics? Only by repeatedly doing these kind of questions. It actually does certain magic to your preparation. When you are involved in solving these questions day and out, you will notice that your focus actually improves. You will start avoiding useless things. You will start involving in doing only so what is useful to the examination preparation. So you can align, you can either see, there are 2 ways of solving previous year questions. One is subject wise and another one is taking full length paper as it is. So my suggestion is, in the beginning, irrespective of what level of preparation you are currently in, right? So first take the full length papers, right? So first try to solve them. What do you mean by solving? You may have knowledge, you may not have knowledge, but you are familiarizing with each and every question, right? So after solving every question, you try to analyze, try to read the solution. I think our question banks have detailed solutions. Most of the websites have detailed solutions. So try to, there is a book also, right? So try to go through the solution, and while going through the solution, be curious about it, right? So if within Buddhism question, they may have given like 3-4 statements, which one or two of them may be wrong, few of them may be right. So try to read little bit more about it. So morning I was discussing with a student, he was telling, I think core batch student, like he was telling like to solve 25 questions and then to do research about it and to read solutions, it is taking 1.5 hours, right? I said it is perfectly fine, even if it is taking 2 hours. What you are doing is the most fundamental requirement for the examination. So don't be afraid if it is taking more time in doing so. This will be useful. This will be useful in your mains answers in the real preliminary examination. That is what I meant by mindfulness, right? You are doing currently this thing, it is taking slightly more time and you are already unsettled. You start worrying about, the next thing, that it will affect my timetable, this and that. So don't be rigid about your timetable. You might have set your 10-hour target, 12-hour target. Sometimes something might take more time at the cost of another thing. It absolutely doesn't harm your preparation, right? at a subconscious level it is just a fear, it is just an excuse, right, to stop doing something and start escaping from it. Otherwise, if you look at a bigger picture, the examination as a one unit, it is not going to affect anything at all. So if you are too much involved in something, of course, I mean entire day you don't have to do that. Even if it in some cases entire day you have done it, still there is no harm in it. I mean by it, I stand by it, I honestly, right, I mean it. The reason is that you haven't wasted your time, right. But again you should know that which are all the fundamental things. It's not like only one thing that you are repeatedly doing. There are many more things that are required for the examination. So when you are solving these questions, it might take more time when you are a bit curious to learn, but because this is previous year question, because this is a topic covered by UPSC, it's okay to go to little depth of the topic. You are not digressing from it, you are not deviating from it, so don't be scared about it. So if possible, try to make notes of it. So if you are solving like 20 years of questions, there are 2000 questions, right? Am I right? Is my CSAT correct? So 2000 questions, if you divide them into next like 90 days, how many questions in a day? 20 to 25 questions, right? So if you do only given 20 to 25 questions in a day, next 3 months, right, by December 15th, you will be able to complete all past 25 years, 20 years of questions. So that is the 25 questions target minimum. In addition to that, I was talking about 30 to 40 questions. Now extra 10 to 15 questions of the same topic or something, you can get it from many question banks. There are static quiz compilations, right? So if you are going through economy classes, right, first see, I told you to first give the full length papers, that you can do in a series of like say like 15 to 20 days, just to like familiarize yourself. After that, start solving them in a segregated basis. So extra 15-20 questions, these will sharpen your skills in terms of elimination, in terms of intelligent guessing, in terms of avoiding overthinking. That is one of the biggest problems students have, that overthinking. You don't trust your own instinct, you don't trust your own preparation. So you know the answer, but still you keep applying certain logic again and again. So this problem will also be eliminated. And many people have this so-called 50-50 problem, right? After every preliminary exam, they come and tell, sir, I have this 50-50 problem. So I get stuck with 2 options. So and then I go for the wrong option. They know the right option, but they go for the wrong option. Even this problem will also be eliminated, right? And as every month progresses, now you still have like 7+ months, right? Now if you are in the December, then it should be reverse engineering. What I mean by it is that through question you have to start reading the concept. Now because you are still in this phase, till December you have time where you can actually read the concept either through textbook or either through notes, and then start doing the questions, right? So now this is the best phase of your preparation, where you are learning and you are applying the skills. So use it more effectively. Now earlier I also told you that the exam should be integrated in a way that it should not be only prelims focused. So most of the people who focus on prelims don't clear prelims, right? You know that this truth. Those who get obsessed over only clearing prelims, they actually fail in prelims. Again, it is something to do with the main, because of the fear that builds up, because you given so much importance to that occasion, you tend to fail most of the cases. So that is why it should be evenly balanced with answer writing practice, right? So how many of you are writing on daily basis any answers? 4, 5, 6, 7 people. Weekly basis? So all of you are giving the test. Weekly mains answer. Core batch you are giving. Core batch IPM, your OGP test you are giving. Good. Yes, if it is not daily basis, at least weekly basis. Now I told immediately after prelims, some people were like surprised when I told that to score better marks in prelims, you should write more number of answers. Do you remember this? All of you? So I told this thing, if you want to score more marks in prelims paper 1, you need to write more number of answers, right? So more number of answers which are related to all the mains topics which get overlapped with the prelims topics. Now both complement, solving MCQs and writing more mains answers, both complement. Here you get supply of examples, supply of facts, data through solving more prelims questions. Again, I'll come to the mindful thing. If you do it with mindfulness, you will remember them, right? What mindfulness does is it strengthens your presence of mind. Now you are not compartmentalizing, you are solving mock tests, prelims. When you are giving the weekly mains test, right, you will be able to apply some of these concepts, facts, definition, example, data, stats, whatever you are learning in a more organic way when you are writing the mains examination. So that is what the presence of mind does. People compartmentalize, they solve the prelim test, they forget it, in the sense that you are not integrating it with other aspects of the examination, right? So to integrate it with other aspects, it can be while writing essay, it can be while writing mains questions, right? Or it can be in general thinking about something else. So if you start interlinking these things, right, that is when we will, as an evaluator, as a mentor, will start seeing some difference in your answers compared to the entire crowd. That is what is linking in most of the answers and essays. Ability to apply concepts or interlink concepts, right? You have compartments everywhere, even in the essay, even in the answers, even in the way you think. You should be interlinked. So if you write regularly mains answers, regularly essays, and then regularly solve questions, things get interlinked. So writing mains answer, you should have target, like I told last session, around 800 to 1000 answers before prelims, right? 800 to 1000 answers. It can be either in the form of tests, in the form of daily answer writing, it doesn't matter, right? Now for most of the people, what I recommend is that in the month of September, till the end of September, you read all your notes. So try to cover as much as possible, but at least starting from October first week or mid-October, you must start writing answers. If you haven't started it, it can be IPM 4 we will launch from October 4th, right? By then you try to complete your preparation and then you can start. So once in how many days we have IPM test? No, 5-6 days. IPM. 7 days, 6 days gap is there. Yeah. So 6 to 7 days gap will be there for every test. You can schedule every test on Sunday, whether you live in Delhi or outside Delhi. So you can come to a center on Sunday. You can write the IPM test. And my suggestion is that you must come to classroom and write. Never write any test from the comfort of your home. I have seen many people who are writing mains this year still struggling to complete the paper. Now if you start in October writing these full length papers more and more on a weekly basis, that problem will also be eliminated. Now again, don't see this particular aspect in an isolated way, that writing answers only from mains viewpoint. So what it does is that when you practice more and more mains answers, mains test, definitely there will be improvement in your speed, in your quality of answers, but it does benefit more than that in terms of your own confidence in your own thinking. So your personality actually changes. I have seen people behaving more maturely, more confidently, those who are writing more tests. Those are taking more number of feedback than people who are not doing that, either of these things. Either you are not writing anything, not taking feedback, or not writing any test, your confidence will always remain at the base level, right? You always have that small fear. And to be brutally honest with you, you are not going to crack this examination. when your confidence is at bottom, because you are not actually doing anything in that regard. So you think you are preparing, you are actually doing hard work, but if these things are not happening, it's very difficult, right? I mean, there may be exceptions, so we should go with the universal rule. The reason is that this exam is an outcome of, as I said, the strength you have, the confidence you have, the kind of personality you build over the period of time. So every ounce of preparation that you are doing should be in order to become a better person also, right? Again, you know the logic. When you go to interview, that actually helps, right? So in the south, from next week onwards, I'm going to start spoken English classes also. Second, handwriting classes also. We are the first institution who will be starting spoken English classes as part of free classes. Anybody who wants to speak English like me can no. Anybody who wants to speak English like Shashi Tharoor can come and join the classes. Both online and offline we will be doing it. That is very important. I see till mains people are like so much knowledgeable, they can write well. But after mains, again, now you cannot express, you cannot speak well. Your confidence again sinks, it goes down. It should be, the graph should be exponential from one stage to another stage to another stage. So that is the reason I keep emphasizing on this aspect. Like that's what I said in the beginning, I am an alarm clock, right? And this conditioning is very important in this examination. I do it with a mindfulness, with a good intention. I keep repeating the same thing because this is what is lacking in most of you, most of the aspirants, that you don't see this as part of your own growth, right? So from our side, we have to do little thing as much as possible. I see people have poor handwriting, poor grammar, lack of vocabulary. For everything I have given a solution. How to improve vocabulary, how to improve your grammar, read standard sources like editorials, don't go for shortcuts, right? So to improve handwriting, I tell people, those as a kids we used to write, no? What do you call that? We used to call copywriting books in South. What do you call you people? With 4 lines. Yeah, like when you were a small kid, they make you write, right? So I tell people, write essay in that notebook. Write secure answers in that notebook. Your handwriting will improve. Till now, not a single soul has come and shown, essay or answer in that notebook. Not a single person. So much ego, right? You are not a kid anymore. And how can you go and sneak out and buy that notebook in a shop? They will ask, "आपके बच्चे के लिए." So then you will be like, क्या बताओगे वहाँ पे शॉप ओनर को? ठीक है, you cannot tell खुद के लिए, right? So you have that ego problem unknowingly, right? So but you don't know that it is these small interventions or small suggestions which can actually make a big difference in your preparation. And I have seen many people failing because of poor handwriting. So those who are writing mains, if at all any one soul is listening to this, like now nobody will listen, right? I mean, why waste 1 or 2 hours listening? Now they have to prepare so much for the mains. Poor handwriting will cost your rank. So last year they have severely penalized. So many people have got negative marks last year, right? So for like 2 to 3 reasons. One is very poor handwriting. Secondly, so much of beating around the bush, right? Third one, being dishonest. You don't know, you have faked, like you have written something, minus 25, minus 35, they have given. So you have to develop understand your deficiencies at very early in the preparation. This is the early stage even now. Though I mentioned 1 year before, September is still a time where you can Identify all your weaknesses and start working on them very aggressively. It can be anything. It can be vocabulary, grammar, poor English, poor spoken English. English में बात करो ना, मतलब speak in English. So, you have to get, नहीं कुछ गाली दिए ना, हाँ? उससे? So with Shankar, अच्छा, what about you, Shankar? You also love to speak in English. ठीक है. So everybody speak in English. Others? No. Comfortable? You feel uncomfortable. This uncomfortable with girls or with boys? With everyone. मुंह से ज़्यादा हाथ बात करता है. So eventually you will start expressing it if you practice it every day, right? Start with whatever you know. Like don't be. I mean, I was just having a discussion with one person who is writing mains. Now we should not be, embarrassed about revealing our deficiencies, our imperfections, right? It's okay. आज लोग हंसेंगे, कुछ criticize करेंगे. The same, that is the, the excitement in the life. The same people when they start appreciating you later, right? So I'm making non-believer a believer, somebody who is skeptical today to make believe in you. So that is the beauty of life. You cannot expect everyone to start liking you, and that is the reason why people don't bring essays to me, right? उनको लगता है कि बहुत बुरा ऐसे लिखा है. So सही है, बुरा ही है वो, right? I love reading फालतू things, right? हाँ? क्या? You tell no, जोर से बता दो क्या है? A compliment दे रहे तो थोड़ा, हाँ? So people don't bring because they have this fear. So what if, I don't know, किसी को आज तक गाली नहीं दिया मैंने. I haven't scolded a single soul in my 8 years. Not a single one at any moment. Not a single student. मतलब I haven't shouted also. You can be the worst of the essay that you have written, right? I'll still see the positive side that you initiated. You started with something, and from that how you can actually slightly get better. And I've seen many students here in Bangalore, Delhi OGP, Bangalore OGP improving so drastically. Within like one month or 2 months, they start writing very good essays, for whom I start giving like 60 to 65 marks. I usually give in the beginning like first 5 to 6 essays, 30, 35, 40 range, and then it definitely improves to 60 plus. And most of the answers also, ethics answers and GS answers. But there are people who always sit, with this fear in their mind, so not doing anything. So that is the reason I am emphasizing on the practice aspect. It can be 40% or 50% practice aspect. If you bring that into a preparation, all of these problems will be eliminated. You will start loving challenges, right? So you don't feel like holding yourself back from doing something, right? So I wanted to experiment this, like बताना easy है, ठीक है? So I used to be a sports person, school, college में, state level kabaddi, वो सब खेला था. Then after graduation, getting into this thing, I stopped doing exercise and everything. Gym जाता था, like 4-5 gym में जैसे तुम लोग करते हो ना, फीस दे के IPM के बाद में IPM नहीं लिखते हो. The same way I used to enroll to a gym. पहले दिन promise भी करता था वहाँ पे, जो बैठता है ना, from tomorrow onwards till December 31st, every day 5 o'clock I will be here. ठीक है? Every day 5 o'clock I will be here in the morning, not in the evening, morning. And then you have to personally guide me, like मुझे train करना, ठीक है? So one day I used to go, right? Second day like again like 6 o'clock, not 5, right? So because first day I've done with so much josh, so सब दुख रहा है, every part of your, and वो भी जोश में, क्योंकि I have created so much expectation ना, so he used to, most of them used to make me do all exercises, and then everywhere pain. Second day थोड़ा क्योंकि I had to live up to the promise, इतना promise किया है तो जाना ही है ना, तो गया, तो second day also, then third day, right, you're not willing to get up from the bed. So it happened like 6 to 7 years, right? So then started giving excuses and then started hiding from that fellow also. So जहाँ पे हम रहते हैं ना, the latest episode was we have a clubhouse जहाँ पे मैं रहता हूँ in apartment society. So in the clubhouse, whenever I used to, that person, because few people they remember, so he doesn't ask me question the way I ask, कहाँ पे ऐसे लिखे हो, कहाँ पे टेस्ट लिखा है कि नहीं, right? So they respect us. So I hide from that fellow कि I could not come. So then I used to feel guilty, like इतना पढ़ाता हूँ, इतना बोलता हूँ, right? In rest other things I maintain, but this physical thing. Then last month I told myself the business as usual चलेगा नहीं, अभी थोड़ा. Somebody commented on YouTube also, right? That was awakening, waking up kind of call. That आप पता नहीं उनको बहुत मोटा लगा मैंने वीडियो में. सर आपका हेल्थ बहुत बिगड़ रहा है, ठीक है. Somebody commented on YouTube, so you should take care of your health. We need you for IPM essay, right? We need you for guidance, ठीक है. तो मैंने चलो पैसा तो लेना ही है, तो so I have to get more income, so I need to get fit now, ठीक है. तो I started going for a walk and I've been doing like 8th day I have consistently done it. अभी पब्लिक में इसलिए बता रहा हूँ इतना सामने, so that I live up to it. And I made a challenge with people back home. In our institution, like we as a group we are very close. वहाँ पे कुछ लोग मोटे भी है, पतले भी है. So those मोटे ना उनको बोला we have a challenge by December 9 we will all be fit. पता नहीं 9 कहाँ से, September 9th we talked about it, I think that is the reason. So by December 9th we will all be fit. So I came to Delhi, ठीक है, but I forgot to bring my this Adidas Nike trousers, ठीक है, सब रखे आया, मैंने वो भूल गया. तो I had an excuse not to go, ठीक है. मॉर्निंग तो हो क्या नहीं, लाइक कैसे जाना बाहर, तो जो जीन्स पैंट पहन के आया तो उसी को पहना. नो, इट शुड नॉट बी बिजनेस एज यूजुअल. आई वेंट फॉर ए वॉक इन द मॉर्निंग टुडे. वही पार्क है ना वहाँ पे, सो यहीं पे विवेकानंद पार्क, वहाँ पे जाके 4.23 किलोमीटर्स वहाँ पे वॉक करके. वहाँ पे एक मेंस का लड़का भी मिला, ठीक है. तो ही इज गोइंग टू अहमदाबाद. ही समहाउ रिकॉग्नाइज्ड मी. सो एक्सक्यूज मी इफ यू डोंट माइंड, लाइक आपने विनय सर, अच्छा भी लगा, लाइक कुछ भी लगा, तो आई डिड दैट. द रीज़न आई एम टेलिंग इज simple. Why I am narrating this particular incident is that this is the first time I have done something like this in my life. That you have come to a new place, right? Somewhere I used to be hesitant, like बाहर जाना, क्या लोग सोचेंगे, so थोड़ा वो रहता था. So but then I went ahead and I would like to continue this. Tomorrow also I will go. Day after tomorrow I will be going to Lucknow. वहाँ पे भी maybe I will go for a walk. Right, in the evening. Morning तो flight है. The reason is I see our own life as constant learning, right? There are wake up calls we don't realize, we don't see them, we hear them, but we don't realize that they are too important in your lives. And these kind of sessions are actually your wake up call. Every time I come and I do it, as I said, with the intention of giving a right direction. So you have to change any attitude that is not aligned with the demand of life or demand of the examination. So you have to overcome it, right? Most of you didn't raise your hand when I said how many questions you are doing, like 30, 40. Start doing it from today. In 20-25 days, you will start noticing substantial difference in your preparation. and that too when you start with previous year question papers, and when you start writing weekly mains test or even essay, that will also make a very big huge difference in your preparation. And when you are trying to do everything, never forget about the basics. This exam this year we again realized, every year we realize that at least 40 to 50 questions totally rely on the strength of your basics. Now what is happening everywhere is that because so much material keeps coming here, we always tend to forget what we have with us. The basic NCERT books, the basic class notes. We somehow have some kind of contempt for these books. We don't take them very seriously. So most of the people tell, I have already read NCERT. I have completed it 2 times, right? But if you are a curious person, if you are a person with certain passion, so inquisitiveness, you go back to NCERT, you will see that you have so many anecdotes to write in essay. You have so many moral stories to write in your ethics case studies. You have so many examples below every picture, right, to enrich your mains answers. You have so many leads, right, to prepare in depth upon which UPSC asks prelims questions, the keywords. If you are curious, you can learn a little more about it. So start from 6th to 12th, every NCERT, keep reading them again and again. Like you may be super intelligent, you may be from Stephens College, gold medalist, right? Have done what? Honors in some particular subject, political science. Even then read the basics, right? It is the basics which impress the people in your answers and in your essays, and if the basics are strong, your preliminary examination will be very easy. So the basics is mostly affected when people go after the current affairs, right? You want to read all complex issues, complicated issues at the cost of the basics. Your time is mostly taken up, while reading these things. Keep static part is so important, even for the future exam or even for 24 exam, right? Even for this 22 exam also it was important. Just because there were 30-40 current affair question doesn't mean that the static was ignored, right? If that part is very strong, you can actually easily crack this examination. So, are you all reading NCERT books?
Yes.
Seriously? Kitna seriously? Read kar rahe ho? So don't try to make notes. Like I tell people to add notes to NCERT books. वो sticky note लगा के, if there is a keyword, do little research, add more content and put it in the NCERT. So keep revising that. You have to be curious means ऐसे लगता है कि तुम आप research कर रहे हो, थोड़ा time लग रहा है. But again, just like I told, the way preliminary questions are the most important topics, anything that is there in the NCERT is also most important from the examination viewpoint. If you are doing little bit extra research on that topic which is there in the NCERT, you are not again digressing or deviating from the examination. It is okay to do it, right? So both complement well and you will be able to get that conceptual clarity which is so much required for the examination, right? सब सो रहे हो? ठीक है, इतना अटेंटिवली सुन रहे हो? इट्स वेरी हॉट हियर. परवेश सो रहा है आराम से. उसको क्या फर्क पड़ेगा, एग्जाम तो नहीं लिख रहे ना. एसी ऑफ किया तुम लोगों ने? परवेश एसी ऑफ है क्या? I thought at least end of September, mid of September, Delhi will be cool. यहाँ पे हिलता ही नहीं वो पेड़ वो सब, जैसे आप लोग पार्क में इतना तेज से दौड़ते फिर भी हिलता नहीं वो. So the leaves in the trees, they are so stubborn, they have made up their mind. जो भी वो मुझे हिलना नहीं है. हाँ? सुबह कहाँ पे देखा? शायद तुम गए हो तो. Right. And CSAT, how many of you are giving full length CSAT papers? One. Very good, you will clear prelims. What about others? February के बाद? Except those exceptions, in this class also there may be one or two people, these people, you know, like big institution, port technology, so they go to CSAT and they get 140. I mean, there are very few people, I have seen them. I see with confidence they tell, give me any paper, I will crack. So, except those people, everyone, you are ordinary human beings, right? So, you should start giving full length CSAT papers from now only. It's a very basic common sense. If you start early, you know why insights became successful. Like we are successful, whether you agree or disagree, right? It's not easy to bring at least these many students in Delhi classroom and, you know, talk to them starting with zero. The reason is that I started website early, right? So when there was no online presence, when there was nothing online, everything online you were seeing started, you know, I mean, there was Mrunal website, of course, there was forum for discussion and all, but all these current affairs, answer writing, quiz, everything, right? So I started. So when you had literally nothing, right? So from the Insights website, because you started early, you became popular, right? And because you maintain consistency, even though you started early, right? So that is how the success was possible. The same logic, the same common sense applies to your preparation also, right? Now if you start early, solving papers, writing answers, solving CSAT papers, after 6 months, you will be in a far better position than entire competition. There are like 5 lakh people who are going to give prelims next year, right? 5 lakh people, 500,000. So among them, 10,000 people are going to crack, 10 to 12,000 if it is 1,000 post, right? So to be among them, right, it doesn't take extraordinary intelligence or anything. All it takes, I am not at all, you might have noticed by now, right? I am not a very intelligent person, right? So what I am is smart person. No, I don't know about that. So what, I am a person of common sense basically. I don't know about intelligence, smartness or anything, it's something to do with common sense, right? So if you start early, even if you are not very intelligent, even if you are not academically so sound, even if you didn't have so many big degrees from big colleges, you can still crack this examination, right? So starting early means the most important things. CSAT, don't ignore it, even if you may be good. This year I have heard so many complaints, they took it for granted. They were good in CSAT, they went, they are thinking that, you know, they will be able to get 90 plus marks or 80 plus marks. Most of them are not able to do it because lack of practice. They took it for granted. So don't do that mistake. You know it is a mistake, right? Now why that resistance? Like why are you not giving CSAT paper? Can you give me 1 or 2 reasons why? क्यों? क्या? कुछ भी नहीं आता, सीखो ना, पेपर ले लो, मिस्टेक करो, फ्रॉम दैट मिस्टेक यू ट्राई टू लर्न. I mean, this is the wrong thinking. Like, I don't know, that is why I am not giving it. Who told you in this world like that you should give a test only after learning everything? I mean, from where did this thinking come into your minds that first you have to learn everything and then only should write essay? First you should complete coaching, then only should take test series, give the tests. First you should make notes for every topic, then only start writing answers. School. By next year you have forgotten everything. All of you are not engineers. All of you are not, मतलब BA जो भी पढ़े वो नहीं है आप लोग, क्योंकि everything you did for that exam in the end, right? UPSC ऐसा नहीं है ना.
Sir, most dangerous thing is that half quarterly exam is that entire syllabus that was not comes in it.
हम्म,
दूसरा आधा ही पढ़ना फिर level हो गया
हाँ करेक्ट.
खत्म है.
सो एंड अगेन दे गिव यू नोट्स, आपको पता है क्या आने वाला है, राइट. सो यू नो दैट द सेम, आई मीन यू हैव मेड नोट, लाइक स्कूल में ऐसे होता था ना, लाइक क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर दे हैव ऑलरेडी गिवन यू, एंड टेस्ट में वही क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे कौन ज़्यादा लिखेगा. सो दे विल गेट 25 आउट ऑफ 25. ठीक है, ए भी ट्वीट किया था मैंने, तो आई नेवर गॉट 25, फॉरगेट 23 के ऊपर ये एक टेस्ट में भी नहीं आया मेरा. नोट्स ही नहीं पढ़ता था, नोट्स ही नहीं बनाता था. सो रीड टेक्स्ट बुक, राइट. पता नहीं टीचर को ईगो हर्ट होता था, जो मैं दे रहा हूँ वो नहीं लिख रहा है, राइट. सो इट ऑल्सो हैपेंड, देर इज ए माई ड्राइवर, लाइक हमारा ड्राइवर है वहाँ पे, उसका बेटा है. सो ही इज 8th स्टैंडर्ड, आई मेड हिम गेट इन टू अ गुड स्कूल बेंगलोर में. सो उसने आया यही दिखा रहा था, क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर. So the way the answers were written were taken directly. The teacher gave answer as it is in the textbook. The line were exactly taken from the textbook. Below the question, they were made to write the same lines. Right. So now you are asking the students to memorize the lines that are there in the textbooks. So I made him realize the same answer can be written in his own words. Right. I just basically asked him multiple questions about this. I made him understand the concept, and then I told him, you write the entire answer in the same, I mean in your own words, right? So he was so happy because he felt freedom. That boy actually उसको freedom को महसूस किया, ठीक है? So he thought कि he could write the same answer in his own words, right? So for me to look at his happiness was for my own happiness, and fortunately it was rewarded in his school. Next test he was able to score better marks, right? So I appreciated the school. अच्छा हुआ, अच्छा school में डाल दिया उसको, right? But in the examination, you know, every answer you have to write your own in UPSC, right? And again, you cannot do that, as I said in the beginning, presence of mind, suddenly when you go to the examination. It should be a everyday affair, everyday part of the preparation. So then only you will get better at doing that, right? So is it clear for everyone? I don't know what topic they give for this session. So I just coming and talking to you. I hope it is making sense. Is it making sense to you? मुझे भी बहुत फैंस है, लेकिन ऑनलाइन कमेंट में दिखाते, कोई सामने कि कोई नहीं बोलता है. ऐसे लगता है कि आप लोग फोर्सिबली लिसनिंग टू, ठीक है, मतलब फ़ैन मतलब कुछ लोग कुछ कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स देते रहते हैं ऑनलाइन में, अच्छा लगता है. वाइफ को भी दिखाता हूँ उससे, देखो राइट. सो somebody said, sir, are you brand ambassador for this brand? ठीक है. So I said, नहीं यार, like इसी unpaid brand ambassador. तो then I asked, like, why are you thinking brand ambassador? आप celebrity हो sir. So कहाँ की celebrity? ले अंदर कुछ लगता है, लेकिन बाहर I tell like what celebrity and all. So we haven't reached any stage. Both जाना है आगे, ठीक है. So not satisfied with what insights has achieved or what I have achieved. There is so much to do. So morning I was having a discussion like how to remain calm and everything, right? Even with all preparation you are making, every exam you are giving, how to balance things, how to remain calm. I told the same answer, right? So be a person who is willing to learn at every moment of your life, right? In and out, be the same, and don't pretend that you are so important. Don't think that you know everything, right? So if you are constantly learning everything, कोई गाली देगा, learning अच्छा गाली दे रहा है, तो क्यों गाली दे रहा है? तो is there a scope for improvement? Improve करेंगे ना. YouTube में बहुत लोग गाली देते हैं, not too many, very here and there. हम उसको public नहीं करते, ठीक है. So we take that feedback, ठीक है. बाहर अच्छा perception build करना है ना, सब अच्छा है. Now very few people, fortunately, Twitter you cannot do that. अगर कोई गाली दे रहे तो सबको विजिबल है. सो देयर ऑल्सो वेरी फ्यू पीपल डू. मैंने बोला ब्रह्मास्त्र मूवी अच्छा है, बच्चे भी देख सकते हैं. राइट. सो उन्होंने बहुत ये किया, कोलाज किया सब ना, एक्समैन का, कुंग फू पांडा का, और ये और एक मूवी था ना, उस मार्वल मूवीज़ का बहुत सीन्स कंबाइन किया. अच्छा ठीक है. सो आई सेड जस्ट मैसेज, वो तो ट्रेंड चला रहा था उसको लास्ट में पुश करने के लिए. स्टिल इवन देन इट इज़ मेकिंग, इट इज़ ऑन द वे टू मेक प्रॉफिट्स. It is good for industry, right? So I messaged and then some negative comments started, but not very negative. So I was so happy, right? So when you are honest, and when you live, so try to portray thing more objectively. People do not criticize harshly, right? Why am I telling these things? I don't know. देखा आप लोगों ने ब्रह्मास्त्र कोई? नो, यू डोंट वांट टू सी. अच्छा, तो आलिया भट्ट देखने के लिए गए थे. शादी हो गई, सो बच्चे भी हो रहे हैं. राइट. जब इन द बिगिनिंग, नो सॉरी टू, आई मीन यूजुअली आई डोंट डू दिस थिंग्स, बट आप लोग ऐसे भी दिस ईयर मेंस नहीं लिख रहे हो ना, थोड़ा टाइम वेस्ट कर देता हूँ आप लोगों का. सो इवन व्हेन इन द स्टार्टिंग, लाइक आई यूज्ड टू टेल लाइक आई लाइक आलिया भट्ट एक्टिंग, पीपल मुझे गाली देते थे, स्कोल्ड. क्या है वो बच्ची एक्टिंग कहाँ करती है, उसको IQ बहुत कम है. सो उसका ये करता था ना, ट्रोल करते थे. शी वॉज द सब्जेक्ट ऑफ जोक्स. सो देन लाइक मेरा परसेप्शन विन हो गया, उसको अवार्ड भी मिला, अच्छा एक्टिंग भी कर रही है. शी इज़ अ वेरी गुड एक्ट्रेस. Right. So we should not prematurely judge people. अभी recent podcast में बोला कि I don't judge anyone. Right. Everyone is equal because everyone can improve. It doesn't matter from where you come from. If your personality, attitude is correct, right? If the thinking is right, you can become whatever you want. Right. So the ambition, the limit you put to your ambition decides everything, and proportionate to that, the kind of attitude you have, the kind of behavior, the kind of efforts you put will make you successful. So this exam is very easy, right? If you understand this very basic thing, right? Slightly shift your focus from textbooks to your own thinking, your own attitude, right? This exam is very easy. You don't have to really make all of us rich, me rich. Old Rajendra Nagar में इतना business ये करना, right? You can make it very short and sweet. Go back to mama, papa, ठीक है? And home cadre, I mean, serve as an officer. No need of all these struggles and other things. No, this is with so much sincerity I am telling you. When I say examination is easy, I know what I am talking about it, right? So all the NCERT, the Hindu you struggle to read can be made more enjoyable, can be integrated, right, in everyday aspect of your thinking, learning, and you can make it a very smooth process. So learn to enjoy every moment, right? लिखो, खूब लिखो, बहुत लिखो, ज़्यादा लिखो. सेम ही वर्ड है ना, खूब बहुत ज़्यादा. मेरा हिंदी वोकैबुलरी बढ़ रहा है, फैला रहा है ना, सॉरी, बढ़ रहा है. So ज़्यादा लिखो. And here like there are mentors at insights to read that answer, give feedback. खाली बैठे रहता है, like वहाँ पे मैनेजमेंट लोग सब mentors ज़्यादा लोग नहीं जाते उनके पास, right? आप क्यों पे कर रहे हो? So I tell, even if 4-5 people are going to them, right, still they are doing justice, and these 4-5 people will get rank, right? But if more people actually come and meet them and get the feedback, more people will get rank. And more people will be invited to Bangalore, 5-star hotel, felicitation. ठीक है, बहुत मस्ती किया उन लोगों ने, जो टॉपर लोग आए थे ना. स्विमिंग पूल देखे नहीं थे वो लोग, बहुत लोग, उसमें ज़्यादा लोग. तो सो आफ्टर हैविंग लंच, वो सूट बूट पहन के स्विमिंग पूल में, हाँ, दे डिड दैट. ले होटल पूरा हैरान, लाइक ये क्या कर रहा है, स्विमिंग पूल है, ठीक है. सो लाइक दिस पीपल आर हैप्पी. लिबरेशन, मतलब इसे उनको लिए प्योर ब्लिस बोलते हैं। When you have achieved IAS, अभी क्या है, कुछ नहीं, मतलब द वर्ल्ड एंडेड, ठीक है, फिर से यहाँ पे नहीं आना है, ये सब सुनना नहीं है, राइट। सो मस्ती मस्ती। सो टू रीच देयर इट इज़ नॉट ए बिग स्ट्रगल। अर्लियर डेज व्हेन आई यूज्ड टू गिव टॉक, आई यूज्ड टू कंपेयर इट विथ climbing Mount Everest. So today if you decide to climb Mount Everest, you know what kind of efforts you have to take. आप ट्रैक गए होंगे ना इधर उधर, यहाँ पे तो कोई हिल नहीं होगा, यहाँ पे दिल्ली के आसपास ट्रैक जाने के लिए वही रायसीना हिल है, उसके अलावा और क्या है। हाँ, तो हिमालय तो पास में है, अच्छा शिवालिक्स वहाँ पे। सो बेंगलोर में बहुत सारे हिल्स है, पीपल गो फॉर ए ट्रैकिंग, राइट, एंड दे आर सो टायर्ड, यू नो, कभी कभी जाते हैं। बट व्हेन यू हैव टू गो फॉर ए माउंट एवरेस्ट, there are people who die on the way and there are people who never reach. Even if they reach, it takes months of preparation, so much of physical and both mental efforts. So looking at that kind of hardship people put, you know, in extreme conditions. आप लोगों ने AC क्लासरूम में बैठे हो, ठीक है, all of you, most of you have comfortable rooms, क्या कर रहे हो आप लोग, मतलब पढ़ रहे हो, लिख रहे हो। I mean, if you do these basic things correctly, more intensely, more consistently, और बाद में वो ट्रैक लेके जाएंगे लबासना में, एज पार्ट ऑफ योर ट्रेनिंग, वहाँ पे दे विल टेक यू, राइट। एनी डाउट्स? इसमें क्या डाउट्स है? ऐसे भी सब पता था हमें, ठीक है, फिर से यही बोल रहा हूँ। इफ यू आस्क एनी क्वेश्चन आई कैन गिव गुड आंसर्स। ऐसे होता है कि यू हैव टू आस्क क्वेश्चन टू एक्सप्लोर मोर। Any questions you have? सब आंसर कर दिए मैंने। No, what is the logic behind me telling do full length CSAT papers? अभी से, आज से, that only you are asking. It should be two-way process. CSAT every day 5 to 10 questions solve करो, topic wise ही करो, randomly करो, keep it. But full length paper, because CSAT paper is something to do with speed. If you have more speed, if you can think fast, solve the problem very fast, then you can handle the actual UPSC paper more balanced way. So you will know which question to leave and which question to attempt, and you know, go for 50 to 60 questions. Most of the people are lacking that. Second thing is, the most important thing is the skill itself. Most of are relying on the shortcuts or formulas or what the teachers are teaching, no, not finding their own way of solving the problems, right. So you have to develop, strengthen your own aptitude, quantitative or what do you call this, not quality, comprehension related, ठीक है, क्वालिटेटिव भी बोलो, ठीक है, तुम्हें कुछ कर देता हूँ क्वालिटेटिव। सो to develop that skill, you have to face a question that you haven't faced earlier, ठीक है, and try to find a solution to that problem. Now if it is predictable, already solved किया है, right, the same problem comes, now you know the answer, it is not actually helping you. Now you take up a problem, you are trying to apply some common sense, some kind of what you learned as part of basic mathematics, and trying to find a solution. And because if you start early, you can experiment and you have time to do this. In the month of February, March, you don't have time to do these experiments. You are so much scared about everything, no, wasting time. So now you have time. If you keep giving more full length test, this ability to apply your own mind, you know, come at your own solution actually develops, right. If you are going in a very convenient, very expected pattern of picking up some 10 questions from a book, seeing them solving, that will help in learning things, but again applying that won't develop. So start early. I mean, you may be a pro in aptitude, but don't take it anything, I mean, this is again common sense, don't take anything for granted, don't leave anything to chance. वो इंग्लिश में फ्रेज है ना, क्या है, leave no stone Leave no stone unturned. कोई previous classroom, I think class I asked the logic of this phrase. Leave no stone unturned. क्यों टर्न करना है स्टोन को? I don't know, I'm just curious. So we'll Google it and learn it maybe later. Any English honors, Stephens, DU college? आप your English major, right? आप yeah क्या है वो? The way she was smiling, no, I got to know. What is the meaning of it? I mean, the meaning we know. What is the origin of that phrase?
I don't know about the origin, but I can try to explain.
Meaning मुझे पता है.
I don't know about it.
Yeah, right. In interview, no, I discourage this kind of answer. Like, don't get offended, right? I'm not pointing out anything. So in interview, when I ask a question, I mean, because I guide people for interview, some people, when I ask a question, they will tell ki, I don't know this, but I know this. Can I answer this? In the real interview, it doesn't help. It's okay to say, I don't know. You may be English major, anything. Everyone will not know everything, right?
So it actually means to take all the actions which are necessary to bring the change.
Correct. Thank you. ठीक है. Any doubts? नहीं. So yes.
So sometimes before giving a full-length test, means suppose a test is about quality का पूरे syllabus का test है, तो सर होता क्या है पूरे test देने से पहले एक सर fear आता है क्योंकि diverse topics रहते हैं, तो उसमें क्या रहता है कि मेरे साथ एक specific problem है, मतलब एक fear है mind में कि सारे topics में सही से याद नहीं रहेगा और उस fear की वजह से सर मैं test नहीं लिखता हूँ, मैं कुछ questions उठाता हूँ जो previous year question नहीं लिखता हूँ या questions जो इसमें test series में आते हैं वो लिख लेता हूँ और full length test नहीं लिखता हूँ सर इस वजह से.
So you are part of IPM?
No sir, I'm not.
Okay. Any test series you have? Okay. So how many full length tests you have written so far? Have you written any test?
Sir, test means का नहीं लिखा है, full length नहीं लिखा.
You have enrolled but you haven't written.
No sir.
Enroll भी नहीं किया.
सर उसमें क्या हमारे जिसमें मैंने एनरोल करा हुआ है उसमें वो 5 क्वेश्चंस के पहले टेस्ट देते हैं तो वो मैं लिख लेता हूँ.
अच्छा. But full length you haven't written. Okay. So what he's saying is that there is some kind of fear in attempting full length paper because the questions are so diverse. They demand some kind of content for every different question. You have fear like what if you.
ये सर वो वही fear है कि सर वो memorize वाला नहीं सर एक कि वो
No, that is the point of the entire discussion, right? For mains people, I gave the message. This is what happens in the real exam. The thing you are facing right now is the thing you will face in the real exam. You have prepared well, sectional test you might have done well, but in the full length test, you will always get those questions for which you don't have 100% certain answer. That is what the entire mains is. Now, who will do better in these kind of tests? Somebody who has accustomed, somebody who has practiced those kind of tests n number of times will be able to do more better compared to all other, because if somebody hasn't practiced them and directly coming and writing, now in the mains you have to write it because you are writing the mains, you are not running away from it because it's not a mock test. So their answers will end up as an average generic answer, right? Now this is the logic you should keep in your mind to drive yourself to start writing them, because you are going to get better at it. So in the beginning, absolutely your content will be generic, your answers will be generic, your introduction will be a definition, it won't be an introduction, right? Did you get this point? Your introduction is just a mere definition or a mere stat, any fact, random fact, and your points will be generic without example. But if you push yourself further and write the next test, if you had answered like 8 answers in the first test, next test I'm 100% sure at least 4 or 5 answers will be slightly better than your previous test. And the third test it will further incrementally improve. 4 tests further. By the time you reach 20th or 25th test, you will be a pro, like creating 16-18 answers without preparation also. Now that is what people do. In the last leg of this simulated mains test, nobody comes prepared. Those who have written all the previous tests, they come and just write it. And most of them are able to write 18 to 20 answers. That is within the span of 2.5 months. Every year I see this cycle. And now you have 10 months for next year mains. See amount of progress you can actually make, right? I mean, if you are really ambitious, you can really aim for top 10 rank, right? ऐसे क्वेश्चन पूछो, अच्छा आंसर आएंगे.
Sir, I am really struggling with the time management thing. So daily newspaper में भी at least 2 hours लग जाते हैं. Then magazine भी होते हैं, current affairs, then optional, GS. Sir, I am not understanding what to prioritize first.
See, at this point of time, I was talking about, I was using the word fundamental. There are fundamental. Last time session में I was using the word non-negotiable things, right? So there are few non-negotiable fundamental aspects of this examination. One of them is reading newspaper, reading hard copy newspaper, not Insights current affairs, not any current affairs on a daily basis. First, हम दे रहे हैं, ठीक है. So that is for people who have already, done with the basic preparation, in the sense that you are already thinking fast. Newspaper you have already read multiple times since school college days, you have been reading that, ठीक है. So newspaper, if it is taking 2 hours, don't worry about it. So within that, prioritize those topics which have direct relevance to the syllabus. If you are reading them, understanding them, enjoying them, thinking about them, parallelly coming up with your own ideas, if you can note down them, you are not wasting your time, right? So continue to do that. But you should be able to apply that when you write essay or write answer, right? Second thing, the most important is basics, right? If you are attending classes and listening to the classroom, are you in a classroom program or what? No, you have completed coaching, like doing self-study. Yeah. So 3-4 hours spend time on the basics. I told NCERT textbooks or your notes. So those, keep fortifying them, keep strengthening your basics, right? So if you are spending more time reading certain basic book or anything, again, don't get scared. It is okay to do it, and that should be done along with the previous year question papers. For example, 4 hours you are spending on, say, polity, 3 hours you read, 1 hour you solve the questions. So then your efforts are meaningful. The third non-negotiable right now is optional, right? Till January, February you have cushion, you have time to do your optional. So if you are spending 3-4 or even 5 hours in your optional, that is perfectly okay. But again, that should be coupled with solving previous year papers. If you are merely taking coaching, if you are merely reading, making notes, then it is also useless effort. So if you are giving 4 hours, 3 hours for reading or listening to the class, 1 hour for answering at least 1 or maximum 2 to 3 questions from previous year papers. So most of you, for optional, first do 10 years of questions. Again, previous year question is your Bible, right? So complete all 10 years of questions, do answer writing, then only join test series. The same logic applies for IPM and other test series. Before joining IPM, before joining prelim test series, do previous year questions, right? Complete your basics. Because just because your friend has joined, other people have joined, don't join this test series, right? So IPM 4 will come October 4th, IPM 5 will come November 5th. That is the last IPM we will have, right? So either you complete your basics by October end or by September end and then join these IPM programs. So in that case, if you have been, again, the next thing is answer writing, right? So you have to start doing, have you joined any test series, mains? So once you are confident about your basics, right? So next month or in November, you should definitely join and commit to it. Like, why you people buy and then you don't write all the tests. Even when you are not prepared, you just go and attempt it. That will still help you. Have anyone tried this? You haven't prepared, but you still give the test. How does it help you? Does it help you? How does it help?
I have never studied ethics in my life. I did not know how to write.
So you are an unethical person. That is what UPSC thinks, because you haven't studied ethics in your life. Okay.
So in my core test, I had this case studies from 5
then you took action. Very good. Just you applied common sense and your own ethics. Right, good. So if you're an ethical person without reading ethics, then you can apply ethics. If you know certain English words, right. So that is what, again, how did it help? You didn't answer that.
Sir, it actually helped me because there was a question about one executive engineer opening a bridge.
Yeah, that UPSC also asked the question.
The bridge was going to open in 15 days time, but there was a crack.
Problem.
But the minister told that we will have to open the bridge.
Okay.
Like inaugurate the bridge, otherwise the model code of conduct will. So I decided, like हम 4-5 लोग ही देते हैं. We decided to like ऐसे कर सकते हैं कि एक ceremonial opening हो जाएगा, उसके बाद we will not open it for the use of the public. So this way.
Good. Middle path. अच्छी option है. So you learned how to come up with some innovative idea, right? So more than that, how it actually helps you is that that courage aspect, right? You become even more courageous, not reckless, but more courageous. That is what is required in the end, in both prelims. डरते prelims देख के, you lose sleep before prelims. If you can win these aspects, then as I told in the earlier part of the session, exam is easy, right? 1 p.m. or 2 p.m.? It's only 1.5 hours. Yes. If you don't have any questions, we will wind up. Or if you have any questions, again, mid-October we are coming up with a core batch, right? I think everyone should aspire to become part of the core batch. I did a monthly session with the core batch that is going on. So the first month session I did, I asked a simple question: how many essays you have written in 1 month as part of the core batch? You know what was the answer? How many they might have written? 10 essays, 5 essay papers. 13. एक ज़्यादा लिखे हो. The recent one also. In 1 month, they have written 10 essays. I attempted 10 essays. They might have written 5 to 6 decent essays in 1 month as part of the core batch, right? And then secondly, the entire GS1 test. Again, ethics, I think 4 tests, with or without preparation, right? So the thing is, no course in India, I am very proud about the core batch. I don't usually market up. Again, it's a very subsidized program. Scholarship bhi rahega. If you come, you can get free of cost also. It's a very effective, very important program which makes you truly fearless, which will actually bring the best out of you. So many tests, so many exams you keep giving, and that I think I told people, if you have done the basic preparation, then it helps, right? Again, there is no point in writing this test without having knowledge. Writing empty things without knowledge doesn't make any sense, right? So if you have done the basics, then write the core entrance test, everyone, and try. You may be a OGP student, whatever, you can still balance your OGP classes with core batch. We can have a session on that, right? So bring that intensity into your preparation. Be ambitious यार, मतलब क्या आप लोग आते हैं यहाँ पे, घूमते रहते हो, यू अटेंड क्लासेस, यू गो बैक, इतना बोलने के बाद भी कोई 40 क्वेश्चन नहीं करता है, 1-2 लोग करेंगे जाके. इनमें से कुछ 3-4 लोग ऐसे लिखेंगे, राइट? वेरी फ्यू पीपल विल स्टार्ट राइटिंग. अंदर अंदर आप, व्हेन आई एम टेलिंग इट, यू टेल योर सेल्फ नो, यू विल डू इट, राइट? बट आवर माइंड्स आर लाइक वियर्ड, right? So they don't follow these kind of things very easily. They are so independent, fiercely independent. They want to do their own thing at the end of the day. If you can tame it, if you can, एक topic आया था ना, mind a beautiful servant or a dangerous master, ऐसे कुछ, right? We had given a topic as part of Sunday or ऐसे, I don't know, core batch, right? So if you can tame it, control it, and everything you're investing, the money, time is worth it actually. अच्छा लगता है, तुम लोग सुनते हो जो भी मैं बोलता हूँ, राइट. आई एम नॉट ए लाइक स्पीकर लाइक यू नो विथ एक्शन लाइक हैंड ये वो करके रिपीट कर करके, मतलब वो बोलते हैं ना जैसे मोदी जी बात करते हैं, सबका साथ सबका विकास सबका विश्वास, लोग याद रखते हैं एंड एवरीबडी राइट्स इट इन द कंक्लूजन, यू नो इट यू रिमेंबर सो वेल. हम ऐसे बात नहीं करते, दैट यू रिटेन इट एंड यू नो शो इट इन योर आंसर्स. ठीक है. हाउ टू डेवलप दैट. तो पॉडकास्ट में कुछ कमेंट आ रहे थे लाइक आप बहुत ऐसा लगता है कि आप पढ़ रहे हो न्यूज़, सब वैसे भी हो तो फिर भी कुछ लोग अच्छा लगता है तो ठीक है. लाइक व्हाई शुड आई चेंज फॉर द सेक ऑफ पब्लिक. यू कैन बी योर सेल्फ एंड स्टिल डू थिंग्स. आई सो स्मार्टली यूज ना लाइक टू सेल माई सेल्फ इन बिटवीन. सो आई सेड आई एम स्मार्ट. पूछो, अंदर अंदर गाली मत दे दो. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन यू कैन आस्क. ये छोटा होता है, ये बड़ा होता है. इंग्लिश में पूछो. यू ऑल्सो सेड being honest. I'm not afraid to be a fool in front of you. I'm not afraid to be, I'm not ashamed to reveal my, ठीक है. So when you are honest and when you know certain things, when you are experienced in certain things, just share honestly with people. Some will relate to them, someone will like them, ठीक है. So then you will be able to get that confidence. His question was basically मुझे तारीफ कर रहा था like indirectly. I don't come prepared for this, you know, I didn't know the topic also. 2023, I just come and talk. It's easy to talk because every day in my cabin I talk to so many people. The same thing I come and repeat here. What I tell individually to people, I said I tell myself and I'll come and share here. So he's saying that he doesn't have, I mean, that confidence or, you know, how to come and talk without being prepared. So that's what I said about presence of mind, right? You pick up something from your previous paragraph, like in essay I tell the same thing. When you want to bring coherence, what you have written in your previous paragraph, from there you get the idea. The same thing, what I have told in the previous, I pick up from there and tell things that is relevant to you, relevant to me also in between. Practice, like earlier I used to get scared like hell, like to come and talk to anyone, leave alone the classroom. अभी कुछ नहीं लगता है, just come, put this and talk. It was not like this. वहाँ पे बैठ के डर लगता था. What? ऐसे भी दिल्ली में आप लोगों को देख के और ज़्यादा लग, सब चश्मा पहने हुए रहते हैं यहाँ पे, and then look very serious and मतलब वहाँ पे डराते हैं हम लोगों को आपके बारे में. In Delhi, students mean business. अब जोक मारोगे बाहर उठ के चले जाएंगे. If you talk nonsense, they will just walk out. They want only content. They are not contented if you don't give content. ठीक है. DU, Delhi University. हम लोग कंटेंट बोलते हैं. ठीक है. टू डिफरेंट है, कंटेंट एंड कंटेंट. स्पेलिंग सेम ही है ना. ठीक है. सो डराते हैं कि आप लोग ऐसे, तो वो रहता था वहाँ पे बिफोर कमिंग ईयर, दो बार टॉयलेट जाओ और फिर से, मतलब पहले होता था, अभी कुछ नहीं है. सो यू कम एंड यू जस्ट टॉक. सो आई हैव स्टॉप्ड टू बी प्रिटेंशियस. मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता to pretend like, you know, I'm very intelligent, very smart, I know everything. and I have found out that when you act like this, benefits are more. Act nahi, yes, when you behave like this, people find us more honest, and honesty builds trust, and trust brings more subscribers. ठीक है, ये भी ऑनेस्टी की पार्ट है, फिर भी लेते हैं कोर्स. एडमायर कर रहा हूँ. ऐसे देख रहा है कि एडमायर कर रहा है. ठीक है, यस. अच्छा, यू हैव अ क्वेश्चन. अच्छा. Yeah. So our question is 23 is going to be last attempt, first prelims. You already started. Okay. See, that's what it all comes down to ambition. I sincerely believe I am not talking to motivate you people, but if you are looking at 23 to crack this examination, you can actually do it. Right. Now, how to do it? As I said, by December, complete your optional, write 10 years of optional previous year questions. Be fearless about facing full length optional paper by December. January, subscribe for a test series, write at least 10 full length optional paper. Your optional is done. Secondly, start writing essay from this week. Right. Have a target of 40 to 50 essays before your mains. So at least 130 to 140 marks is guaranteed. GS 1, 2, 3, 4, right. For ethics, answer every question of last 9-year papers, including this year 10-year papers. Every question, every topic you make notes from ethics. Don't read any textbook. Last 10-year papers of ethics are sufficient. That is your textbook if you prepare answers and definitions. So that takes care of ethics. And then write full length ethics paper as part of IPM or any test series that you would like to join. GS 1, 2, 3, write more full length papers starting this week. Whether you are prepared or not prepared, don't give any excuse. Right. For example, first test usually people will have art and culture, modern history, something like that, which if you have already given attempt, you already know the content. Now don't run after making new notes or anything. If you have already access to any value added material notes, you take it, read it and give the exam. Right. And the fourth, solve current affair quizzes from Inside IAS, right. Be updated with current affairs regularly, especially quiz, never miss them. We give 20 questions, start from January 2022 onwards, right. January 22 current affair compilation lena, quiz ka, solve all the questions. Then the most important is when you are about to give the mains test, it should not be at the cost of ignoring basics. Right, the basic static component whatever you have. I mean, if you can systematically revise according to your mains plan, right, when you are about to give the art and culture test, so read art and culture NCERT or any basic material you have. And as I said in the earlier part of the session, 60-40 rule. So if you are reading for 2 to 3 hours, at least 1 hour should be spent on solving MCQs on that topic. So if you write previous answers, if you solve previous year questions and if you solve current affair questions every day, and if you do it sincerely every day, right, without doubting yourself, without having any kind of fears, without worrying about what is the outcome of the next year examination, you are definitely going to crack this examination. And add to that CSAT once in a week at least, one full length paper. It is so simple. You will actually get better at these things every week when you keep doing. I have seen it, like I have witnessed these things. I am not making up these things to boost you or anything. I have seen people writing so good essays from starting from zero. I have seen people writing so good case studies, ethics answers starting from literally zero. Right. So there is this year like one OGP student who joined our 6th batch. We started in August. He is the only person in the entire batch of 250 students who is writing essay from the very Sunday itself. right? So he has written, he showed me 7th essay. This Sunday, I mean Monday I checked his essay, 7th essay, and that fellow is from Kannada medium and he has done engineering and doesn't have good English skill or anything, but there is huge difference from his first essay to the 7th essay. I can already see a potential topper, right? So I am trying to push him in like top 50 now, then eventually it can happen to top 10. I mean that is the attitude, right? And I can with certainty say that वो बहुत स्माइल करके आता है, अंदर वो खड़ा रहता है, he is grinning and standing in front of the door whenever I am there. I invite him, he sits, कुछ hesitation नहीं, he waits, he has so much of patience, he is just like 21-year-old, right? I mean that attitude I have seen in like within 2 months I have seen so much improvement. Like that there are so many, most of the toppers are like that. So for you it is not any exception or anything. So for that you have to free yourself that it is your last attempt, that वो निर्वाणा स्टेज होता है ना, तो उसको रीच करना चाहिए आपको. So no attachment of anything, don't worry about outcome, nothing. आपका बेस्ट दे दो. The best you can give for this examination, the best you can get out of yourself, right? I mean you ask yourself that the best is yet to come for everyone. If you haven't truly given your 100%, if you haven't truly gone to the depth of your potential and nothing, आप लोगों ने सिर्फ surface level पे लड़ रहे हो. I mean you are all fighting on the surface level. You haven't actually brought out the best that you have, right? I mean with consistency you can do that, not immediately, and be mindful that it happens only incrementally, not suddenly. So that is why there are so many tools, and if you do it, it will happen. आप आके मुझे इंट्रो गाइडेंस ले लो नेक्स्ट ईयर, ठीक है? टुडे you wrote the test, okay. उसी चीज़ को 2 बार लिखना है, दोबारा लिखो. अच्छा. No, that suggestion is sensible. Like, see, we have attempted a test in the test center, right? Within 3 hours. Okay. Some people take more time. Don't do that. So if the test is 3 hours, within 3 hours you try to write. If it is 2 hours, within 2 hours you try to write it. Now go back, and if you are not satisfied with your answers, right? I don't recommend you to write the full answer, right? So what you can do is that what better example, what better point you could have given for the same answer. Only that much you can write. So otherwise, you can, in the next test you can implement it, right? So it is better to face an unknown question and try to get the best out of it, rather than know the familiar question and वो थोड़ा false confidence build करेगा. But you should definitely go back and see your answers, see the synopsis or your own notes, and add more points so that you remember them. That a point miss हुआ था, then you are finding those points and adding that, you will actually remember it. ठीक है? It will be good, because that's what I told people. You are not able to answer all 20 questions in the exam. ठीक है, 12, 14, you must be answering 12, 14 if you are beginner. So if you read all 20 questions and make short notes, I think it should be soft copy again, not like written, whatever is convenient to you. As you rightly said, you will have like 600 to 800 variety of topics, right, imprinted in you, and that really acts as a boon in the mains preparation. You should definitely make it.
Sir, as you said, कि ethics की
But again, within internet, standard sources. So not like our websites and other these things, like primary sources. Like if it is something like food security, for example, the definition you can go to any UN website, I mean the WFO website or WHO website. There they are UNDP website. There they will have the definition, right? Or Niti Aayog or any report of Ministry of which ministry में आता है? Food and Agriculture. So you should refer to internet for standard keywords, because most of the sources are derived from there. When you do it from there, again, don't do research. You do only enough to enrich your answer. Don't get carried away from there to another. That self-control is important. That is a problem. You have so many tabs opened, in your browser, which you never read actually. वो ऐसे ही रहता है पूरा टैब हमेशा, ठीक है. You open your browser again. You know how many times I open my laptop? Any guesses? Huh? What? I didn't get, sorry? Twice or thrice. Once in 2 or 3 months. I stopped doing anything in laptop or anything. ठीक है. Delegate everything. सब बस बात करो, ठीक है. So I realized one thing: if you are making money, you are making money to keep yourself happy and relaxed. ठीक है. Not to again overburden, stress yourself. वो पता नहीं, वो लोग कल मैं फ्लाइट में आ रहा था, बस सूट वूट पहन के आते जाते रहते फ्लाइट में. वहाँ पे भी वो कॉफ़ी पी रहे, लैपटॉप पकड़ के, मतलब वो शौक के लिए करते, कुछ काम करते वो लोग. दिस आर ऑल बिजनेस क्लास में भी वो कर रहे हैं, ठीक है. प्रोडक्टिविटी उसके पीछे भागते लोग, राइट. थोड़ा रिलैक्स्ड होके लाइफ जीना शुरू करो. मतलब बेंगलोर में अच्छा लॉन्च ओपन किया वहाँ पे, 1.5 hour आई वॉज देयर, लाइक आराम से.
मैनेजर भी वैसे ही करते हो.
हाँ,
आप ओनर है ना, इसलिए नहीं करते.
ठीक है, तुम्हारे लाइक यू हैव ए पॉइंट, बट ओनर लोग भी करते होंगे ऐसे, ठीक है. आई डोंट नो, लाइक इवन इफ यूर मैनेजर, लाइक आई डोंट, इवन इन आवर इंस्टीट्यूशन आई डोंट टेल पीपल or push people that you achieve this target or do this target or anything. So that freedom is there actually. अपने मर्जी पे काम करते हैं, like we don't have a attendance or like nothing. कभी भी आते, कभी भी काम करते जाते, पता नहीं कब जाते कब आते हैं, काम चलता रहता है. हाँ, I never tell them, and they stay till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. No, that is the beauty, like you don't have to tell people, just give freedom, trust them, ठीक है. तो आप पीछे पड़ के you don't have to push, so अपने आप चलता रहता है. May not be perfectly. Yeah, see, in order to bring multiple dimensions in your essay, one is there are 2 ways, right? You should be able to look into your own life experiences from a curiosity angle. I mean, you have, I read one essay, again, another candidate from last year OGP student. He has beautifully mentioned all his village experiences. The entire essay, there were like 4 to 5 examples of the village experiences. So no reference to any book, no reference to any author ideas or anything. So after mentioning those experiences, like then coming up with a statement that what was the lesson from that particular experience. So that is one way. I really liked, and I gave him like I think 59 or 60 marks, because that really stood out in terms of originality. The second way is to read multiple books on different topics, diverse topics, right? Like for example, you should have interest in non-fiction, different categories, right? So you don't have to read books, like there are a number of articles that keep coming. The third most important way, the very thinking you do in the essay, right? You may be having knowledge, but you should know how to bring more dimensions, right? So the one important way is to ask questions, basic questions, how and why, right? So if you ask the question like why the topic says so, or why the topic may not make sense, why it may not be logical, right? So at least 2 to 3 whys or 2 to 3 hows, HOW. So if they are there in the essay, they themselves will bring 4 to 5 different dimensions. The second way is to think from the different stakeholders or different, thematically. For example, if there is a topic on any topic you can give, any essay topic. So themes means instead of thinking from economic, political, geographical angle, so you can, terrorism can be a theme, right? A refugee crisis can be a theme, right? Got it? A food crisis can be a theme, but you don't have to bring them economic, geographical and all, but you can just think of the themes, right? And it doesn't come overnight, you have to practice a lot. Yes, like you have to stop doing that. Like 3 years ago I had made a video, told people to write example from Mahabharata, Ramayana, epics and all. Now almost everybody has read Mahabharata, Ramayana, right? I don't know if because I told her like everyone is telling, I don't know. But in essay we see that again it has become a cliched example. So avoid bringing epics. I mean, if at all you want to bring something unique from these epics, you can bring in your essay, but not the usual stories. Right, beyond them you have to think. There are so many sources, right, for ideas and thoughts. A quote can be a thought in itself. From that you can build an argument, right? So you have to move away from these things, and basically you start by asking questions, why and how. You will actually get very good dimensions. Done. So thank you so much for showing patience and supporting my talk session. So I hope all of you will go at least implement 10-20% of what I have told you in this session, right? Okay. Will you all implement? What will you implement? Whatever I told. Good. 30-40%. 30-40 questions, more answers. Do it. You'll actually come and thank me like next year. Thank you, all the best.